Burkina Faso is a landlocked nation with no ocean in sight, yet standing at the edge of an aquatic revolution. For decades, its people have relied on imported fish, watching as the rivers and reservoirs around them remained untapped sources of potential. But change is on the horizon. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is breaking free from dependency, crafting a future where food security is built from within. With an unexpected but powerful alliance with the Kingdom of the Netherlands, a vision is turning into reality. Deep in Samandeni, something remarkable is happening. 45 floating fish farms are emerging from the water, carrying with them the promise of a new era. An era where Burkinabe fishermen control their destiny, where fresh, locally produced fish fills markets, and where a nation once dependent on others begins to feed itself. This isn't just a project. This is a movement. But is change happening? Let's find out. Burkina Faso is rewriting the rules of food security in Africa, a country without a coastline, yet now leading a revolutionary approach to fish farming. At the heart of this transformation are 45 floating fish farms in Samandeni, an ambitious project that blends modern engineering with sustainable practices to create a new future for the nation's food supply. At first glance, these floating cages may appear simple, structures drifting across the water's surface, but in reality, they are highly sophisticated aquaculture systems designed for maximum efficiency and sustainability. Unlike traditional fish farming, where fish are released into natural but uncontrolled water bodies, floating farms create a carefully monitored environment, ensuring fish grow under optimal conditions without the risks of predation, disease outbreaks, or contamination. Each cage is suspended on water, allowing for constant oxygenation and water flow, while the design ensures that fish develop in a stress-free habitat, away from the fluctuations of seasonal rivers. Every floating unit consists of a sturdy, weather-resistant platform, a submerged mesh enclosure, and strategically placed feeding stations to maintain a balanced diet for the fish. The enclosures allow for controlled growth cycles, preventing overcrowding and ensuring the healthiest yield possible. To further enhance efficiency, the farms are equipped with monitoring and aeration systems, tracking water quality and fish health in real time. This means that instead of relying on unpredictable fishing yields, local fish farmers can now operate with certainty, knowing exactly how much fish will be harvested and when. The impact of these floating farms extends far beyond the mechanics of aquaculture. For decades, Burkina Faso has struggled with a heavy reliance on imported fish, with local demand far exceeding domestic supply. The unpredictable nature of traditional fishing has only deepened this dependency, with climate shifts, overfishing, and resource depletion often leading to scarcity in local markets. This new initiative completely changes the equation by transforming the country's water bodies into highly productive food sources. Instead of watching potential go to waste, these floating farms harness local resources to meet national demand, reducing the need for expensive imports and ensuring a stable, year-round fish supply. The numbers alone highlight the scale of this transformation. These 45 floating fish farms are expected to produce 300 tons of fresh fish annually, a figure that significantly strengthens Burkina Faso's food security and economic independence. Compared to the unreliable yields of traditional fishing, this structured, scientifically managed approach provides consistency and efficiency, ensuring that both fishermen and local markets benefit from a predictable and sustainable production cycle. With the country's population growing and the demand for nutritious food increasing, this project represents a long-term solution to some of Burkina Faso's most pressing challenges. Central to the success of this initiative is the integration of precise feeding techniques, a critical factor in optimizing fish growth and minimizing waste. The project has already allocated 60 tons of specialized fish food, carefully formulated to ensure rapid, healthy development while maintaining ecological balance. Unlike traditional fish farming, where overfeeding often leads to water pollution and inefficiencies, these floating farms implement calculated feeding schedules, ensuring that every gram of food is utilized. This balance not only maximizes production, but also protects the surrounding environment, preventing unnecessary waste accumulation and ensuring that the farms remain viable for generations to come. Beyond the environmental and economic advantages, the human impact of this initiative is undeniable. For generations, Burkinabe fishermen have faced economic instability, their incomes dictated by unpredictable fish stocks and fluctuating prices in local markets. Many have struggled to sustain their livelihoods, often forced to turn to other forms of labor, or even leave their communities in search of more stable opportunities. But with the structured, data-driven approach of floating fish farms, fishermen no longer have to gamble with their future. Instead of relying on uncertain daily catches, they now have access to a steady, controlled supply of fish, allowing them to earn consistent incomes and plan for the future. This shift from survival-based fishing to systematic aquaculture is a monumental step in improving not only food production, but also economic stability for thousands of Burkinabe families. The significance of these farms extends across multiple regions of Burkina Faso, ensuring that this transformation is not limited to a single area. From the north to the central plateau, from the upper basin to the east, these floating farms are strategically placed to spread the benefits of sustainable fish farming across the country. This isn't a one-off project confined to a single community. It's a nationwide strategy aimed at revolutionizing food security, employment, and economic growth. The ambitions of this initiative don't stop at domestic supply. With the success of these floating fish farms, Burkina Faso is positioning itself as a regional leader in sustainable aquaculture. If scaled further, the country could move beyond self-sufficiency to exporting fish to neighboring West African nations, turning an initial solution to domestic food security into a broader economic advantage. The infrastructure and expertise gained through this initiative could place Burkina Faso on the map as a key player in Africa's growing aquaculture sector, shifting the balance from reliance on imports to being a supplier of high-quality, locally farmed fish. For now, however, the focus remains on building a strong, self-sustaining industry. The first 45 farms are just the beginning. As this model proves its effectiveness, expansion will follow, with more regions adopting this structured approach to fish farming on a national scale. With Captain Ibrahim Traoré leading the charge, Burkina Faso's waters are no longer just rivers and reservoirs. They are the foundation of a new agricultural revolution, one that brings food security, economic growth, and sustainable development to the people who need it most. The tides are changing, and Burkina Faso is rising with them. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Now, the question here is, why is the Netherlands collaborating with Burkina Faso? Innovation requires vision, but turning vision into reality demands resources, collaboration, and the kind of bold investment that many would hesitate to make. For Burkina Faso's floating fish farm initiative, that investment has come from an unexpected yet strategic partner, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. With 11 billion CFA francs allocated to the project, this partnership is not just about funding. It's about redefining the very foundation of food security, economic independence, and sustainable development in Burkina Faso. At first glance, the connection between Burkina Faso and the Netherlands might seem unusual. One is a landlocked West African nation, the other a European country famed for its advanced water management systems and seafood exports. Yet this partnership is not just a financial transaction. It is a calculated move that aligns Burkina Faso's growing need for food security with Dutch expertise in aquaculture and water-based agriculture. The Netherlands has long been a global leader in sustainable fisheries and advanced water management, pioneering technologies that allow high-yield fish farming without environmental degradation. For decades, Dutch institutions have invested in research and innovation that enable fish farming to thrive in controlled environments, minimizing waste while maximizing production. By bringing this expertise to Burkina Faso's freshwater resources, the Dutch government is doing more than funding a project. It is helping lay the groundwork for an entirely new industry in the region. At the same time, Burkina Faso stands to gain much more than just funding. This collaboration opens doors for knowledge exchange, technical training, and long-term infrastructural development, ensuring that the project remains self-sustaining even after initial support phases are complete. Unlike traditional foreign aid programs that create dependency, this initiative is structured to equip Burkinabe communities with the skills, technology, and economic leverage to take ownership of their resources. Funding a project of this scale is no simple task. The 11 billion CFA franc investment is not simply handed over in a lump sum. It is strategically allocated to ensure maximum impact at every level of implementation. The bulk of the funding is directed toward the construction and deployment of 45 floating fish farms, each requiring specialized engineering, high-quality materials, and carefully managed logistics to ensure their longevity and efficiency. Beyond the physical structures, a significant portion of the investment is dedicated to training programs aimed at educating local fishermen in modern aquaculture techniques. Unlike traditional fishing, which relies on seasonal patterns and luck, floating fish farming requires a deep understanding of controlled breeding, feeding cycles, and disease prevention. The investment in training ensures that local fishermen are not just workers in a foreign-funded project, but skilled professionals in a rising industry that they will one day own and expand. Additional funding is allocated for supply chain development, ensuring that the fish farms are consistently stocked with high-quality fryers and fish food. While many fish farming initiatives fail due to unreliable supply chains, this project is structured to create self-sufficiency at every level, from breeding stock to final harvest. By carefully investing in both production and distribution, the initiative ensures that Burkina Faso's markets are never undersupplied, preventing the kind of price fluctuations and shortages that have historically plagued the industry. While Samandeni has been chosen as the starting point, this project is not limited to a single location. The initiative spans multiple regions, including the North Central, East, North, Upper Basin, Plateau Central, and Central regions, ensuring that the benefits of the floating fish farms reach communities across the country. This strategic distribution is crucial because food security cannot be solved at a local level. It requires a national strategy. By spreading the impact across multiple regions, the project ensures that no single community holds a monopoly over fish farming resources. Instead, different areas contribute to a decentralized but interconnected supply network, creating a system where fish farming becomes a national industry rather than an isolated experiment. This multi-regional approach also allows for regional specialization, where certain areas focus on breeding and hatching fryers, while others focus on high-yield production. Over time, this will lead to a more diversified and resilient fish farming industry, reducing risk and ensuring stability in production, even in the face of environmental changes or market fluctuations. One of the biggest criticisms of foreign investment in African development has been the risk of dependency. Too often, well-funded projects fail because they are designed in a way that requires continuous external support, leaving local economies vulnerable once the funding ends. But this project is different. It is structured to transition from donor-funded development to a self-sustaining economic model within a few years. Instead of simply injecting capital, the Dutch partnership prioritizes knowledge transfer, technology sharing, and skill development, ensuring that Burkina Faso takes full control of its fish farming industry over time. With each harvest, local businesses gain more experience in managing, selling, and scaling fish production. As the industry stabilizes, private sector players will be incentivized to invest, leading to new businesses, expanded processing facilities, and eventually even export opportunities to neighboring countries. More importantly, the initiative is structured to generate revenue rather than depend on future aid. By creating an affordable and stable fish market within Burkina Faso, the project ensures that domestic consumers benefit from lower prices while local farmers earn sustainable incomes. Over time, profits generated from fish farming operations will be reinvested into expanding the industry without the need for continuous external funding. What starts with 45 floating farms today could expand into hundreds more across the country in the coming years. The current phase of the project is laying the foundation, but the long-term vision is even more ambitious. If these farms succeed at scale, Burkina Faso could position itself as a leading fish producer in West Africa, supplying fresh fish not just to its population, but to regional markets as well. With proven success, the government could explore new investments into fish processing facilities, cold storage infrastructure, and export logistics, allowing Burkina Faso to move beyond subsistence production and into high-value agribusiness. With ongoing policy support, local entrepreneurs will be able to launch private fish farms, using the floating cage model as a blueprint for independent business ventures. As this initiative gains momentum, it is likely to attract further investment, not just from international partners but also from regional development funds, African financial institutions, and private investors looking to capitalize on the rise of aquaculture as a major economic sector. The key takeaway is clear. This isn't just a project, it's a movement. One that is being built on strategic investment, international cooperation, and a vision of economic sovereignty. What is happening in Burkina Faso today could very well set the standard for aquaculture across Africa tomorrow. The foundations are being laid, the investments are secured, and the path is clear. Burkina Faso is taking full control of its food future, and the world is watching. In the end, let's talk about how this will benefit the locals. In every great transformation, there are numbers, policies, and strategies. But beyond the calculations and infrastructure lies the real impact, the people whose lives are changed forever. While the Floating Fish Farm initiative in Burkina Faso represents a monumental leap in food security and sustainability, its most profound effect is on the people who will now have access to fresh fish, stable jobs, and new opportunities. From local fishermen who once depended on uncertain catches to families that struggled to afford nutritious meals. This initiative is a game changer in both livelihood and well-being. For years, the availability of fresh fish in Burkina Faso has been inconsistent. Limited local production meant that much of the fish consumed had to be imported, leading to high prices, fluctuating supply, and limited access for many communities. Families living in inland areas often found it difficult to get affordable, high-quality protein, forcing them to rely on alternative, less nutritious food sources. With the introduction of 45 floating fish farms spread across different regions, access to fish is no longer a privilege reserved for those who can afford imported goods. Locally produced fish will now be available in greater quantities, reducing the need for costly imports and stabilizing prices. This means that families across Burkina Faso will no longer have to worry about seasonal shortages or inflated costs. Fish will become a consistent, affordable source of nutrition. By providing specialized training programs, the project ensures that workers gain valuable skills that can be applied beyond the current initiative. This knowledge transfer is crucial. It means that as the industry grows, more individuals will be equipped to start their fish farms, creating a ripple effect of entrepreneurship and self-reliance. Women who have traditionally been involved in fish processing and market trading are also major beneficiaries. With a greater supply of fish available locally, women-led businesses can now expand their operations, processing and selling fresh fish with higher profit margins and more financial stability. In a country where women play a crucial role in informal economies, this initiative serves as a powerful tool for economic empowerment. The economic benefits of floating fish farms go far beyond direct employment. When people have reliable jobs and stable incomes, entire communities experience economic revitalization. Families can invest in education, healthcare, and home improvements, while local businesses flourish with increased consumer spending. This stability also plays a significant role in reducing migration pressures. In many rural parts of Burkina Faso, young people often leave their hometowns in search of better opportunities in urban centers or abroad. This mass migration can weaken local economies, leaving communities with aging populations and little economic activity. However, with the introduction of a thriving fish farming sector, young people now have incentives to stay. They can build careers and businesses in their communities, rather than seek employment elsewhere. Beyond economics, there is a social impact that cannot be ignored. Competition over natural resources, including fish stocks, has historically led to conflicts among local fishermen, particularly in areas where overfishing has resulted in scarcity. By shifting towards sustainable aquaculture, these tensions can be reduced. Instead of competing over dwindling resources, communities can now cooperate in maintaining and expanding fish farms, ensuring long-term benefits for everyone. The introduction of floating fish farms in Burkina Faso is only the beginning. As the industry matures and demand grows, there is massive potential to scale this model to more water bodies across the country. Future expansions could introduce more specialized fish breeds, additional processing facilities, and even regional fish export programs, turning Burkina Faso into a leading producer of fresh fish in West Africa. With the groundwork laid, the coming years could see this initiative transform into one of the most successful aquaculture revolutions on the continent. The model being developed here, one based on sustainability, local ownership, and long-term investment, could serve as a blueprint for other African nations looking to strengthen their food security and employment sectors. Burkina Faso is proving that when communities are given the tools, knowledge, and investment to control their resources, the results are extraordinary. Do you think this step will be a crucial one for Africa? Let us know in the comments section. Is an alliance bad if it comes without any strings attached? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.